Hold this truth firmly. Of all you behold, only a small portion rests in your hands. The rest belongs to the ebb and flow of fortune. Epictetus places within your domain the prohairesis, the faculty to judge, to desire, and to act according to reason. Beyond that redoubt, narrow yet inviolable, stretches the vast meadow of uncertainty, the opinions of others, the health of the body, the course of events, even life itself and its end. Confuse these two realms, and you fashion your own misery. Distinguish them precisely, and you will find a stillness no external assault can break. This is not a call to retreat or to smother the human thirst for excellence. The Stoic labors with ardor, but measures success by the uprightness of intention, not by the outcome. Picture the archer. He masters the art of drawing the string, fixing the gaze, and releasing the arrow with a steady hand. That mastery is his. It belongs to him as surely as breath. Yet once the shaft has flown, 1,000 factors slip beyond his control. An unexpected gust, a slight turn of the target, the dampness of the air. If the archer ties his worth to the final impact, he becomes a slave to the unstable. If he ties it to the perfection of his gesture, no result can tarnish his dignity. Applying the dichotomy is an exercise in inner vigilance. Whenever life stirs your spirit with praise, contempt, gain, or loss, ask without delay, is this mine or not mine? If it is not yours, let it drift by like a wandering cloud. If it is, order it beneath the light of the Logos. Thus, applause will not swell your chest, nor criticism dent your mettle. Fortune will not intoxicate you, nor misfortune drown you. You will remain centered in the sole fortress that admits no invaders, righteous choice. Practice daily, this discipline polishes character as a touchstone reveals gold. The mind, freed from useless disputes, grows clear. The heart, once volatile, learns the steady beat of serenity. And note the paradox. By fastening yourself to the little you control, you govern your whole life more surely, not because you bend destiny's course, but because you walk in accord with it. Where turmoil once reigned, a virile calm appears. Where anxiety brewed, a sober joy rises, grounded in the knowledge that what is essential depends solely on your judgment. Watch closely whenever your spirit grows restless. Almost always deep inside, you will find a hidden demand that the world should bend to your design. You expect a friend to sense your need without being told, the city to reward your effort without delay, and chance itself to overlook your faults while correcting those of others. This invisible web of expectations is, for the soul, a silk thread that soon hardens into an iron chain. Epictetus warns that it is not things, nor people, that wound us, but the fantasy that they ought to behave otherwise. Failure begins in the mind, not in events. Disappointment is the collision between reality and the portrait we have painted of it. The Stoic, therefore, renounces the impossible task of ruling another's will. He knows that demanding perfect rectitude from a fellow human is like begging the sea for docility. The surf will follow its course. Wisdom lies in learning to pilot one's vessel upon it. Likewise, he refuses to tie his joy to future contingencies, promotion, public acclaim, the calm of the marketplace. These are dice cast by hands not his own. Were his peace to depend on such throws, he would live in perpetual anxiety, a prisoner of an uncertain tomorrow. Yet surrendering expectation is neither cynicism nor apathy. Epictetus proposes a subtler art, the art of pure intention. Act with full vigor. Aim your work toward the good. Cultivate noble bonds, but regard the result and the response of others as neutral matter, foreign to your sovereign sphere. If gratitude arrives, receive it with serene appreciation. If ingratitude appears, welcome it as an exercise in patience. In this way, another's conduct ceases to be a whip and becomes a gymnasium for character. To guard this ground, practice constant examination. When you feel resentment sprouting, ask yourself, what was I expecting from this person or event? By naming the expectation, you strip it of power. You discover that demanding flawless justice from life or unconditional loyalty from those around you is, in truth, demanding nature to cease being nature, and that absurd demand wounds you first of all. Hence, the Stoic transfers his hopes to the sole invulnerable place, right will. He strives to judge with equanimity, desire with measure, act with virtue, because these alone depend on him. Everything else he contemplates as shifting scenery, now bright, now somber, always transient. From that detached gaze, true strength arises. External blows no longer pierce the rampart of his own judgment, and joy, freed from conditions, springs like an interior fountain. In the end, understanding the snare of expectations is the liberation of consciousness from an unseen yoke. Nothing outside loses its value, yet everything regains proper proportion. Praise becomes a breeze, not sustenance; criticism, noise, not verdict; fortune, a guest, not a master. And you remain, as Epictetus teaches, self-possessed, unperturbed and watchful, walking lightly because you carry none of what was never yours to hold. Once the frontier between what is yours and what is not has been accepted, the subtler labor remains, turning that insight into a way of life so it is no longer a brilliant theory, but the steady rhythm of the soul. Epictetus insists that freedom is not awarded by decree. It is carved moment by moment through the exercise of attention, prosoj. Just as a sculptor chips away marble blow by blow to reveal the hidden form, the Stoic shapes his temperament through small, repeated, conscious acts. Serenity, far from a mystical trance, is a meticulous discipline renewed with every breath. Begin each dawn with a brief inner vigil. Before the clamor of the world claims your thoughts, ask, what depends on me today? The answer never changes, only the quality of your judgments and the uprightness of your will. Repeat this discovery like a silent vow and feel how anxiety loosens its grip, for nothing essential can be taken from you. Then project your mind forward, imagining the day's likely frictions, the indifferent colleague, hostile traffic, the opportunity that may evaporate, and recognize that each belongs to the realm of uncertainty. This premeditatio malorum does not drain joy. It shields it, because it neutralizes the sting of surprise. One who has already foreseen the thorn is not wounded when he meets it. Step into events with the vigilance of a sentry, examining in every impression two realities, the external happening and your own inward decree about it. When praise arrives, notice the temptation of pride. When blame appears, detect the seed of anger. Do not grant immediate assent. Epictetus counsels suspending judgment until reason delivers its verdict. That pause, barely the span of a heartbeat, is the gateway to freedom. In it, you decide whether to admit or deny the impulse. Practiced steadfastly, the pause becomes habit, and the soul learns not to be a captive of sudden storms. When heavier adversity strikes, illness, loss, betrayal, apply Stoic alchemy. Transmute the blow into fodder for virtue. Ask, as the old slave of Hierapolis would, which part of me can grow stronger through this? Perhaps patience, perhaps temperance, perhaps compassion. By discovering that vein of growth, calamity turns into a gymnasium of character, and complaint, its first outcry, dissolves into vigorous acceptance akin to the amor fati Stoics reserve for the wise. Not merely to tolerate fate, but to embrace it as co-worker of universal reason. When the sun descends, withdraw briefly from the din and bring your day before the tribunal of conscience. Without scourges of guilt or caresses of complacency, review the facts. Where was I faithful to my purpose? Where did I fall short? What shall I do tomorrow to strike truer? This evening audit, crafted of 3 glances, celebration, correction, plan, seals the day as a full cycle of learning. It does not chase instant perfection. It seeks the constancy of ascent, that slow advance Epictetus names procope, progress in virtue. From these cares a sober joy emerges, denser than fleeting exhilaration. It relies on no applause or outward conquest. It is born of the incontrovertible fact of living in accord with the Logos. You discover you can be poor yet whole, unknown yet fulfilled, defeated yet regal within. For the measure of your blessedness is no longer what the world dispenses, but the congruence between your will and your deed. Thus, the soul, lightened of expectations, moves serenely through the mutability of things like a ship equipped with a true rudder, firm against the gale, supple to the breeze, always master of its authentic course.